I'm Daniel, I'm a sleep physician, and if you're Insomnia, this channel is for you. The other day, I was thinking about this, that when I interact with people that have gotten past their insomnia, I often ask them, what was the most helpful thing to you? And I made a list of the 4 most common answers and sent that out as a tweet. And people started adding things that I thought were really, really good. And that I want to share with you today. Hi there, hope you're doing really, really good today. And if you are new to the channel, big welcome to you. By the way, for anyone that's come new to the channel, and if things that I talk about here are like not quite clear, then go back to the first couple of episodes. That's where I go over the, kind of the real basics here. But anyway, as mentioned, one episode, I can't remember what it is. I wish I could, then I could tell you, but I guess you'll have to just browse to find that one. But one of the good episodes here, I feel, was where I talked about how insomnia does not end. You'd really never hear somebody go through like a real struggle with sleep to find milkweed or this gadget and that solved it, you know? And then I thought, how about the flip of that? Like, what do people tell me when I interact with somebody that has completely gotten past their insomnia really well? What are those things? Because that could really help people, get direction. And so I thought about a couple of things, and I sent out a tweet, and I said, like, please add. And a lot of people added things that I thought were really good. So I'm just gonna go over this kind of my original tweet plus the answers, and I hope you will find something valuable here. So I'm just gonna read my whole tweet, and this was, by the way, when was it from? August 6th, so a couple of days ago. Here's my tweet. When somebody has gotten past insomnia, I like to ask what they felt made the biggest difference. These are 4 recurrent answers. Fearing sleepless nights less, committing to CBTi, changing negative to positive sleep thoughts, and taking sleep down from a pedestal. And just to elaborate a little bit more there, number 1, the one I listed, fearing sleepless nights less. I think that's a really big one. And one story that I told a couple of times was from Mike, one of the earliest people I interacted with on this channel, who had a job interview for a job he really, really wanted, and he couldn't sleep. Like, literally was up the entire night before the next day's interview, which was super important to him. And he was tired, he was sleepy, but he got the job and he functioned, reasonably well with like 0 hours of sleep. And that became a really important learning point. And he started fearing sleepless nights less. So I think that's a big one. Now, and by the way, and as I mentioned, one that I hear many times over, like when I started fearing not being able to sleep less, then I started sleeping better. So that's one. Committing to CBTi, I heard it a number of times when, not really much to elaborate on there, but well, actually I want to add this, that what I've heard not infrequently is somebody said, I kind of tried CBTi for a week or 2 weeks or a couple of days, but it didn't work for me. But this time over, I really, really committed to it. That really works. And again, for those who like CBTi, what's that? Check the first episodes. That's where I go over the basics. Now, changing negative to positive sleep thoughts, a common one. And to give you some examples, you wake up at night and you're like, that's it, I'm not gonna sleep at all. And then trying to change that thought, for example, to, well, I woke up but many times I have fallen back asleep, so maybe I will, or changing more like, I haven't slept at all, this day is gonna be terrible, and try to think about like, well, actually, there are some times where I can function pretty well, even if I sleep terribly. Maybe today's not going to be so bad. And just to add a little more flavor to that one, I'm reading this book now on CBT, which talks about a lot about automatic thoughts, like these things that immediately pop up in our brain, and like, that's it, I'm not going to sleep at all tonight. And it's important to question how true that is, because if you can think back on, you know what, actually 2 weeks ago I woke up and I fell back to sleep. When you start questioning those automatic thoughts, that's a big one, and you're going to hear more about that as I read more about in this book. Okay, taking sleep down from a pedestal, I think is an important one. When you ascribe like all these good things to sleep, meaning like, if I slept better, I would have better quality skin, I would feel more energized, I would do my job better, everything would be better. Then you're putting sleep on a pedestal, and it becomes almost impossible to get it because you ascribe there's so much pressure to get it. So those are my 4 original ones. Now let's go on here. So here's from somebody named Hiram Maxime. Adjusting expectations regarding quantity of sleep needed. That was a big one. And by the way, I see a lot of people that in clinic mainly that come in and say like, I just can't sleep more than 6 hours. And how are you feeling? Pretty good, but I just can't get those 8 hours. And then I basically just educate them that that's perfectly normal. Most people sleep just about 6 hours. And then they're like, oh, well, insomnia is solved, you know? Oftentimes it's not that straightforward, but I thought that was a really good one. And then I want to move around to this one. Sorry, I felt there was other ones that were really good. Here's another one from Alexander Miller. Exercise and consistent daily routine. You know, I think that generally is good. If we exercise with the purpose of like trying to make us sleep more, that's not good. But if we do it to because we enjoy exercise, that's great. And also, he says talk about consistent daily routine. Well, I don't know necessarily if it needs to be consistent. In fact, you know, doing things on a day is good. I like that about this comment. Like, you know, shifting attention away from sleep is super important. But inconsistency is maybe actually better. Like if you do new things that are interesting and fun that you haven't done, that can really help shift thoughts from thinking about sleep. So that's a big one. Here again, oh yeah, here it is, from somebody named Chelsea Fox. It was interesting with this conversation, but just a quick note, and that was like a lot of these people I hadn't really interacted with at all, and just a lot of good advice came out of nowhere. Here's one. This is gonna be the last one. Trying again the next night, just like a diet. One bad night doesn't have to ruin progress. And I don't know exactly the background of what Chelsea Fox thought about this, but to me it was like almost like a CBT thing again. Like you're trying this kind of technique to sleep better, and you may not see results immediately. You know, it may take a while, but just like keep going, have patience, and you know, good things will come out of it. So gonna finish up there, and I hope this was valuable to you, and I want to thank everybody for comments, questions, because that's really the lifeblood of this channel. So important. So please comment, please send me emails, or connect with me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatnot, and I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, take it easy.